and around 11 o'clock when 59 both ways, but then I had to go off and so I didn't get a chance to try anything else out yesterday. R107s, yes, well, they're sort of edging closer to the bench. I was expecting to have to do some work on this valve tester, so I had sort of psychologically put some time aside for that, but actually it all worked first time, and so all I've got to do is find somewhere to sort of organize the shell, somewhere to put it so that I can use it routinely when I need to. And then I think there's nothing preventing the R107s marching along and getting ready. So I think it's a crescendo is not perhaps the point. It's a slow a slow march towards the bench, but it's inevitably getting there. Right, I think that's probably about it for the moment. So let me see. It goes on to Colin, and glad you had well, you came back safely from your travels. I can imagine such a long trip was pretty exhausting, but glad you're back anyway. G3TSK, G3YJO.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. Thank you very much. This is G3TSK. Yeah, glad to get my feet back here. I'll tell you now. Up one day, and a day there, and down the next day. And it's I found it quite exhausting. But I stayed with my brother, my youngest brother, and we got on well, very well. And my son has a habit, of getting up around about 5 o'clock in the morning and going out either with his dog, but in this case he went to the railway station, and he wanted to see a specific train, a freight train going through at 5 o'clock in the morning. Can you imagine that? And then around about 6:30. He went out with my brother, and they did a 2.5-mile walk along by the River Wear there, and I think by the cricket field. Sleeping away in the land of Nod. I just don't know how you do it, getting up at that time in the morning and doing these things. But the occasion when I have got up in the morning, my gosh, the air smells beautiful. And I really feel alive there. But it doesn't happen often. But anyway, move on from there. I've got a note here down from Brian here. Oh, Brian, I've got to talk to you about cucumbers sometime. My cucumber plant has suddenly come alive, and we have some magnificent cucumbers when I thought it was dead. So I just cucumbers seem to have a good recovery, unlike tomatoes. But I got some good tomatoes. But we must talk about cucumbers. Why? Everything went sort of musty, and I thought the leaves were going out crackly, as if it's got sort of mildew on. And I was about to take it out, couldn't be bothered, had something else to do. And a few weeks later, we got some lovely cucumbers, and it's still producing, so there you go. Must talk about it. Good signal, nice to hear you there. And Ian, it's nice that you get on Saturday morning there. I think there was, I think in the beginning, but really it is really worthwhile, and I think things should get better now as we start going towards the sort of darker nights, but it's good to hear you on Saturday morning. Working on the valve tester there, Martin, I've got a Taylor 45C, and I find it very useful even just for comparisons. I'll take a valve out of a piece of equipment, set the controls, and put another valve in and see which valve is the better valve. And that's how I do it. I have a lot of knobs to turn, but I have a handbook, and it tells me where to put the various positions. And I found it very useful. But as Paul once said, and I know, and I agree with him 100%, the best thing is substitution. Substitution, Paul, you've got it on the head there, if you've got a valve, but sometimes you don't. And it's interesting that of all the valves I have, which is over 1,000, I never seem to have the one that I want, and I think that's pretty common with quite a few of us. But you mentioned, Paul, about CIR. I'm not too sure if it's got a question mark. LG300 and then oblique CIR, so perhaps you can just enlarge I do hope the decorators have gone. And my ears pricked up the other day when you said that you had 2 rooms, one for your making and one for your sending and receiving. 2 rooms, my goodness. Brilliant. Well, I suppose my shack is pretty like that. It's 1 room, but it can be divided because I've got stairs, and the stairs bisect. And on one side I have the operating and the sort of library and my valve tester. On the other side I have my desk where I sit down and make my notes and my workbench. So it is more or less the same. The 2 sides are completely separated. And I hate clutter, as I've probably said before. So there's nothing very much. What I have I use, and the rest goes into the loft. And that's the problem. Once I get in the loft, I can't find what I want. And Sheila's always saying that loft's going to break and everything's going to come crashing through in the dining room and the living room. But it hasn't happened yet, and I don't think there's any chance that it is, but there's a fair bit of stuff in the loft. What else have we got here? A mic, a reasonable signal mic. About a 4 and a 4, and I did hear you talking about 3 valves, but it was a struggle mic. But I do admire your tenacity. Now that's a good word, tenacity. I think I got that in a crossword the other day, tenacity. Something like that anyway. Just stick to it. Stick to it. That's brilliant. And Trevor, oh my goodness, you seem to have quite a bit of gear there. And follow your overs with interest. Command sets, my goodness. I think I had 2 command modules, and I give them away. I had a rotary converter on the rear, and when I wasn't interested in valve radio, I gave it away. But now I have some, I think to myself, oh gosh, if I had that, I could have got that rotary converter going, and it would have made a nice module. Because I always think command stuff is really, really well made. So there we go. Lovely day now. Lovely day now. I'm looking at the clock. And I'm going to make this my final. Got to go to Minehead. And the routine starts again. So there we go. Yes, up for a funeral. My sister-in-law. Lovely woman. Absolutely lovely woman. Known her for 50 odd years. Maybe 60 years. So there you go. Because it has to happen sometime or other. But a sad occasion. There we go. It all happens, and we're all getting on. Well, I'm getting on anyway. Right, okay then. I got to put a poll. So Paul, listen my last one, but I will listen. Lovely to hear you again there. M1 PBC. This is Golf 3 Tango Sierra Kilowatt. Now wishing you a very good morning, and all things being equal, see you in the morning. Bye-bye.
G3 TSK M1 PBC. Colin, is that your 19 set break?
Yes, it is. It is my 19 set, Paul, over.
Yeah, I thought so. Just has the edge on the DX40. Sounds very, very good indeed, Colin. So 7.3 to you. I'll let Trevor explain the CIR to you. But it is the solar activity, if that's the right word, that's causing the propagation that we've got today. And, well, all good signals with the exception of Mike. Mike's just too close to me, but Mike, you've been getting excellent reports, so that's just the way propagation goes. Sometimes I get your station very good indeed, and sometimes I don't, and today is one that I don't. And okay, on the valve tester, yes, I used to have a Taylor 45C Colin. I actually sold it on that internet auction site and got more for it than I paid for my Avo Mark IV VCM, which is a much more significant tester, although it did need a lot of work on it to bring it to the stage that it is at now. But there you go. Yeah, it's nice and compact, that tester, and does most things, but it's not quite, well, it's certainly not as comprehensive as the Avos, but there again, substitution, yes. Well, it was just words I repeat. You'll find that in the Collins radio handbooks. They do not favour valve testers, Collins Radio Company, at all. But as you say, they're very useful for doing checking and doing matching as well. And at least it gives you some indication that you might be on a winner. Anyway, I'm going to make this a final. Got the decorator in again today. He's not with us tomorrow, so I might be able to spend a bit longer on air if propagation lets us do so tomorrow. But got to cut and run now, guys. So great to talk to you all. 7-3 to those that have signed. Brian and Colin, according to my list. Because Ray, a long time gone now, probably on his bike going to work. And let me put it to Mike, and Mike, you put it on to Trevor, PA3BOH, but I will listen for a short while, guys, but got to cut and run, as they say. G3, MHX to take, MHX to take, M1PBC, signing, but listening, guys. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, sure. Station C2 out now. This is GTMHX Polyester 3. The M1BBC and the whole house is there. So stay hanged up. Martin was on and then he disappeared. No one said I heard your signal. I just said I was closing down but I couldn't hear any signal. So I hope I didn't interfere or anything. But still everything went dead. Everything went dead here.
Was soll die fahren? 15 Euro, 10 oder 15 Euro soll das.
Blijft stil. Oké, Cor.
Irgendeine Soundkarte eine zusätzliche und irgendwas.
Die Filme.
5 Jean-Paul, juste au-dessus du bruit. Juste au-dessus du bruit pour moi. QTH 40 mètres. Well, not fuse box, meter box outside. They're actually
In what we've had, and it's
just
America?
Fairly soon, next week or so, I think.
Where?
Can't remember. South, I think. Was it mid-south, deep south?
Oh, right. My sister's just come back from there. They were around the Carolinas and that. She said, stunning countryside, you know?
In the fall.
Mason-Dixon line and all that.
Yes, we could do one of those here. Well, we've effectively got one anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting about the accuracy of the line. It's just 50 feet off in one or two places.
Yeah, I know.
Which wasn't bad for the time of year. Was he a Welshman or something? What would he be? The cartographer?
I'm not sure.
Look like the right pair, don't they?
Yeah. Does that date back sort of to around the American Civil War period?
Well, after it, wasn't it? They had to draw a line.
Right. Okay.
Well, so it was just after it, or maybe it brought it to an end. I'm not exactly sure of the history.
No.
But they had to be this line drawn, didn't they? And it had to be that's why they brought in independent people rather than allowing their own to do it.
Yeah. I saw a program on it, but obviously I haven't remembered anything.
Well, it wasn't that gazette then, I expect.
Yeah.
I still don't know what it was all over, really, but it's still rumbling today.
I know. They all go on about it.
Oh, gee, I don't know. Anyway, I suppose they need something to argue about. I'm surprised that Kim Jong-Bong-Dong has not made any remark about the bombers that have been flying up and down near his coast.
Yes, they've been posturising, haven't they? So it's all very quiet.
I like that this morning. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Posturising. That's a wonderful word.
Oh, yes. Or postulating. Maybe I use it wrongly.
No, I think you're right.
All right. When
one postulates, isn't that with a spoken word?
It could very well be.
Anyway, I haven't postulated for a very long time. It's an age thing, you know.
No need to get better and twisted.
I'm not. I'm just bow to the inevitable. There was a time.
Oh?
Yes. Glenys is complaining. She's not very well. She felt rubbish yesterday and things. A sore throat and God knows what. So
oh, well.
This is what happens when you go to a hot rugby club.
Yes. You had a good time then?
Yes. I don't know what was in the beer, boy. I can't. Well, you know.
All right. Oh, of course, yes. I remember your ensuing remarks.
Yes, amazing. I don't know whether it was that or the company.
Well, did the taxi turn up on time?
Yeah. To come home, it was half hour late going. I put a flea in area.
Oh.
As my mother would say.
I catch
pretty awful, that.
7-3 to yourself and Howley there.
Okay, George. See you, George. Have a good day. See you tonight if you're on.
Yeah, work tonight, Dave. So I'll catch you at some point along the line. 7-3. Good luck, Howley.
Yeah. Cheers, George. I'm going as well, old boy. I've got to get on here. Speak to you. Speak to you later, chaps. Cheers, Paul, as well. GW3WCV's going. Bye bye.
See you, mate.
Yeah, bye-bye.
You can go for your walk now, Dave.
Sorry, George?
You can go for your walk now.
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll have a good day anyway, and don't work too hard, obviously.
There's no fear of that, Dave.
Well, you're just lucky. You're lucky that you didn't have a hell of a job like I had to, where I was absolutely exhausted at the end of every working day of my life, George.
You're just saying this to wind me up, aren't you? You didn't have a bloody job. They just gave you money for doing bugger all for sitting in your van all day.
Oh, you goody you. Oh, I knew you'd come back with abuse.
That ain't very nice, David.
No, he's always held it against me.
It's true though, Paul.
Sorry?
Right, I'm off. 7-3, lads.
See you, George. Normally at this time, Paul, you'd be a thundering signal with me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah, hold on a minute. One. All right, Dave.
All right.
Only 3.3, the FOF2. That doesn't help.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, is that 11111?
No. I don't think it's anything to do with what you're with what you're transmitting, Paul. It's just the conditions. They're weird.
Well, you're 7, your Howley was just about readable, and the other gentleman was just about readable, but I'm in the part of the band where nothing's tuned up properly, so I had to use the tuner and the rig.
I don't think it's anything to do with what you're doing, Paul. It's the conditions.
Oh, they were right crappy last night, weren't they?
Yeah. Have you spoken to Gary? Do you know if he's back yet?
I don't know. He was coming because we miss him there when we're on late then on that other bit of the band, don't we? But he was, last I heard, the one in the Isle of Wight was going over to pick him up from the ferry. So that was last week sometime.
Yeah, that's right. And all that happened. And he was going to go to Adrian's place, then in Croydon. And then I asked him what day he was returning to France, and he didn't seemingly know for definite, you know?
No, I don't think he knows for definite at all, do he? I upset him, and I don't think he's ever forgiven me.
Oh, don't worry.
But never mind. What was he, a sound engineer?
Yeah.
Yeah, about right. Never had a proper job. Oh dear. You know my 6 stitches, don't you?
Say again?
You know my 6 stitches?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I thought there were 5.
No, there was 6 in there, there's no 4.
Aye, well you told me that one dropped out, so another one's dropped out.
One dropped out yesterday and all. I got 4 now. I got an appointment with a nurse on Monday at the doctor's. I ain't going to have none left by the time I go there.
Yeah, are they the ones that dissolve?
No, they're catgut.
So how have they dropped out?
She never done the knots up on them properly, I don't think. The knot just comes undone. I've got one, there's another one now there where the knot's starting to come undone on it.
Well. Sutures, that's what they call them, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they come out now, they're sealed up.
Well, is it hurting?
No, I got numbness until my fingers, but never mind, I got numbness until my fingers on the other hand, so my first finger and my thumb and the second finger on the right hand are numb, and now I've got the little finger and the second little finger on the left hand numb, so you get on with it. Yeah,
you fight on, don't you?
Well, I done the other hand when I was in the slaughter. I had a knife fall out of my pouch, you know, you have a pouch for your knives in. I got a bullet that was being a bloody nuisance, just to be quite honest, and decided to lay down in the killing box. Well, the new one they put in was all concrete. You couldn't get nowhere near it when they lay it down, so in the temper, instead of taking my belt off, I flung myself over the wall, didn't I? And as I pulled the trigger, the knife come out the bloody case and took the sinews out the back of my hand.
Oh dear.
That's like everything else you do at thousands. Well, very similar to a nail grinder. 99.59% of the time you'd have took the bloody belt off, but I didn't.
Yeah, I know.
But that was quite that was a nasty one. That took me. I got a lump of wire in the back of my hand there to operate. And me thumb and my first 2 fingers. I can't do a nut and bolt up with them of any description because they just don't want to go where you want them to go. But apart from that, the only grip on that hand I got on my 2 little fingers. But I've got, well, I don't know when I done that now. That must have been about 74 I done that. And I got through life with it, so that, you know, I don't take notice of it.
No. Yeah, you battle on, don't you? Yeah. Right, I'm a-going. Nice to hear you. Give us a shout in the morning when you're ready.
Yeah, well, I sit and listen, but there's normally such a bloody melee going on. What with Tom today, taken over and then the other one in America taken over. I never see the sense in that in America, you know, calling and then trying to get you to work, because if they can work the West Coast, that don't mean to say where you're going, do you know, 3,000 miles away.
Well, exactly. It's bloody chaos, isn't it?
It's the biggest load of crap that ever was, that is. Where people's brains are, I just do not know. No. You know what? You're shot up to 5.9 plus bloody 20 now, and as loud as a house. Now, why was that?
I was about to say the same thing with you in the space of a couple of minutes.
Well, on that last over of yours, that went flick, and that was just as if you switched it linear on, that went woof.
No, I haven't done anything at all. That's amazing. But you've come up 20 dB. I knew maybe just things are sorting themselves out. But I knew your signal was down.
Yeah, well, so did I, but God, you know, that difference is absolutely, that's why I don't go on 81 at all. They keep on at all, you're 5 and 9 and I can't hear you and you're 5 and 9 here. All this crap, and I don't go on there now.
I bet the FOF2 has risen now. It's probably 3 or 4 megs and everything's hunky-dory now. Trouble over.
Right, well, have a good day anyway. The sun is shining here at the minute. The sky is a bit grey, but that's the sun is over the North Sea, so it might come drifting in. But we've been threatened rain for the last, I don't know how long, and then had none. And I went to put a bit of hedgerow in that I'd with sort of cultured in pots, and I had to take the fork and the spade and the hammer to get into it.
Yeah, well, this is the difference, isn't it? All that rain came over yesterday, and it was kind of fairly quickly blowing over from west to east, but you didn't get anything then?
No, well, we've got the Pennines in between, and the Chilterns in between us and Mayo, up at you and here, and as soon as it hit another hill, like that stumps itself on the west side of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. The temperature's rising in your part of England, though, isn't it, over the next day or so? I know they're still saying with that warm air coming up from the south, it'll be about 23, 24 in London.
Well, it's 10 and a half here now. That ain't been under 10 all night.
No. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near those temperatures in the Wild West here, but, well, we're used to it, you know?
Well, yeah, when I was at work, when it get hot and bright like this, you're chasing stuff about trying to get it to go to the guns. They don't want to look at the sun. They don't like the high pressure, and they run about on the ground and won't fly. That used to be a bloody nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine. There's a couple of them been in my garden over the last couple of days. Still, there we are. Right. Have a good day. Look after yourself.
Yeah, likewise, Dave. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
See you, mate.
Nicht durcheinander, aber doch etwas knapp. Wir haben da noch, ich habe mir noch zu einer...
Yes, blimey, Frank, you've taken a real dive here. Yes, it must be a bit frustrating. I'm not sure they're both hearing the same noise, are they?
No, I don't think they are.
No, the noise we're getting, you wouldn't believe it. It's awful. It was on 2.7 a minute. No, sorry, on 2.9 a minute ago, but it's gone off there now. It's gone somewhere else, but it's terrific. With me, it's about 40 over 9.
CC, October. German bike. Fisher. West to northwest. 8. Dogger.
Even kijken of ik het kan laten horen. Hoor.
Ongelooflijk zeg. Nou, dat is ongehoord. Mag eigenlijk helemaal niet zo zijn, ik zei.
Donc faites un ampli différentiel.
Because we've got sort of flower beds very close, and there's sort of soil all the way along the...
And I'll always, well, they're the things that break on this Omni.
That's the thing they come. You know, I don't know whether, but I think Bulging's probably gone. So you have to wait for them to come up on eBay or something, or at a rally. So I've renewed my box of knobs. G0 GMA, G0 CBM.
G0 GMA, yes. Yes, it's quite true what you say though, because you can't get your hands on these things, and they do break sometimes. You know, I don't really know why, but occasionally, perhaps an over-tightened screw or something finishes up twisting it, and I've had one or two split over the years, and it's always handy to have something going. But like everything, all these things we're talking about are slowly being used up or lost. Because as time moves on, so does everything else, doesn't it? But anyway, I'm glad Play already did some good. Yeah, and I was double for collecting wire at rallies.
D'abord, il y avait encore des OM qui étaient vivants là-bas.
Throw at people by way of help with these sorts of events. Anyway, that's to come, but the thing will get posted, I think, today. No, tomorrow. I forget what day it is. Oh yes, tomorrow when they have a bit more freedom to do things. Oh, he's still got to sign it.
Men jag såg upp på radaranimationen här att det är som grejer.
Så det börjar bli sånt, men ja.
Genauso auch mit der Länge der Reparatur habe ich
They had to trade in. It cost them, I think it cost them £15,000, Peter, yeah?
Yes, I can well imagine that. This caravan, and this is 7 years ago, cost £30,000, but...
Oh, dear. That's a lot of money there, isn't it? Good God, God. I mean, when you look back, when I bought this place, it cost me £1,500. That's all. 1,450 I paid for this place. And that was here, we've been married now. We would have been married 60 years come last March. And we've been here, because Andrew now was born here, and he's 54, so we've been here 55 years now, Peter.
Yeah, I understand. Well, this was like a family decision. I put up the money, but as we all love it, and my 3 children all come down here. It is, to be fair, a top-of-the-range caravan, as you might imagine. It's 33 feet by 12, fully centrally heated, insulated, built-in fridge, freezer, bathroom, and an ensuite bathroom for the main bedroom. 2 bedrooms, main bedroom and a second bedroom. The second bedroom is the one I use as a shack where I sit at the moment. And on top of that, there's a pull-out bed in the lounge, which provides another double bed. So it's a very popular model, actually. Quite in spite of the price, you'd be surprised how many of these they've sold. It's a Willoughby caravan, and when we bought it to make the choice, there's a caravan fair held every autumn, September time, up at Hull, because the Hull area is where nearly all of them are built, apparently. So I went up there, and my eldest daughter met Kirsty and I up there when we stayed overnight.
So schön wie du da experimentierst, ist ja gut für dich. Minden ist heute relativ dünn. Das war also sehr, sehr knapp dicht.
Victor first, over.
I probably were new, in fact. They were lots more expensive.
That's right, it was.
Panels was under the government scheme was that the company that fit them, they were all ready to have them fitted, and they rang up the company one day and said, well, when are you going to fit the solar panels? And the lady said, right. She said, I'm just going to send you an agreement now for the lease, and then we'll get started. And the next door neighbour said, what lease? How do you mean, what lease? You haven't mentioned this. And they said, oh, you have to lease us your roof, because they weren't buying the panels and putting them on. They were having them under this government agreement. And the neighbour said, no, you've never mentioned this. We're not leasing you our roof. So by the skin of my teeth, I escaped solar panels right next door.
Well, I've got 2 bungalows in the close here with solar panels on, and I don't think I got any trouble with them. I've been round with the portable radio, and I can't detect anything.
No. There are 3 down the road. There were 3 roofs with them on down the road, Roy. And I went down there, I don't know, a couple of years ago now, with my portable radio, and you can only hear hash when you I went up the front garden path in the dark with my portable radio, and I got within about, I don't know, 10 or 8 feet of them, and then up came the noise, Roy. So that was fairly localised.
I did have some trouble, but then I saw some men up on the roof, and the trouble stopped. So I put 2 and 2 together and thought, obviously something went wrong, which they've now corrected.
Yes, I do remember that.
We've got a lot of solar panels up here at this area, but I don't think any of them caused me any problems. I've not known anything. The only thing it did once was some kitchen lights, these little neon type lights, they cause a lot of interference, or can do.
Yeah, well, I changed from tubes, because they used to cause me, to like an LED thing, and they still not quite as much, but they still give me some stick when they're on.
I meant LED, Frank, not neon. I meant LEDs. The other lights, the tubes, they will as well. They'll cause problems as well.
Oh, well, they did. Because it's not that far away. But I changed them. I'm glad I did, because it's a lot brighter light than the tubes. But he still didn't eradicate the noise, which I was a bit disappointed in.
Since we had the kitchen done the other week, refitted, and they put new lights up, got no problems at all. So it must have been the others were wearing a bit, I think, or whatever, or just badly done.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit tired.
Like me. But what do you think to that picture then, Frank?
I thought it's a smart looking thing, isn't it? It looks really, and that cabinet's really, really nice. I'm just trying to think. I've got a wooden cabinet somewhere with catches on, but there's no handle on it, I don't think. But I don't know how big it is. Might not be big enough. I'll have to have a look around. You get all this stuff and you put it away in a cupboard somewhere, and then you forget about it. So if I find it, I'll take a picture and give you measurements.
How big do you think it is, Frank? Take it, have a guess.
It'll turn up. I'll have a route round later on. It may not be what you want, but I can only have a look.
How big do you think it is, Frank?
If my memory serves me right, it's probably, 10 by 8, something like that.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it's not quite as big as that. Actually, I think it's about 8 by 6, something like that. But not quite sure at the moment.
I'll have a look for it anyway and let you know.
I suppose I can do it what size I like, but there we go. We'll see what goes on. I'm going to check things out. That's what I'm going to do, but it'll take me a little while to get sorted.
Did you see those messages from Russell?
No, I I never had no message from Russell.
Oh, it was on some websites about these Parasat. There's two of them with all the details and photographs and Lord knows what. He didn't send it to you.
They were the valve type, though, weren't they?
Oh yeah, the original spy sets, yeah, during the war.
I thought of doing valve, but how I am at the moment, I don't feel like all the hassle doing that.
Yes. There's loads of them on YouTube. If you notice, carried on from the ones that Russell sent, with YouTube, it goes on to a similar subject, and there's loads of films about them on YouTube, isn't there?
There's quite a lot actually, Alan, when you look around, copies and bits similar to and what have you. I intend to do it, but loosely like, should we say loosely like the old spy set, it'll be transistorised instead of valves, that's the thing. Because I did think about valves and I thought, no, I don't want all the problems of making a power supply and all the rest of it as well. It ain't just the radio, you've got to get the power supply for it as well.
Yeah. He said on one of the videos, sorting the valves out was, I think you have to send to America for one of them. Yeah, they're not easy, to get hold of.
Not only that, nobody round here does accumulators anymore, do they, Roy?
Those were the days. Harrod, what is his name? Harrod.
Yeah, what was his name along Gordon Street, Roy, who used to do them? That's where I used to take Owen.
Yeah, Harrod, Harrod, was it? He went up some steps to his front room.
That's right, yeah.
I'm just thinking of that box now. I think it's smaller than what I said. I think I know what's inside of it, but I'll have a look, but nonetheless, and let you know.
Mr. Swindon, do you still watch the good old days from Palace of Variety?
No, Roy, I haven't watched it for ages.
It hasn't been on for ages, but it's back this Friday with Ken Dodd in the chair.
All right. I'll have to try and remember that, Roy.
He's top of the bill.
Yeah, who is on?
Sorry?
Who is on the show?
Well, I've only seen it in the magazine that you take, and it said it's back on Friday night on BBC 4, and it's Ken Dodd is top.
All right, okie dokie, thanks for that. I need to record it, I suspect. I think we're out this Friday night. We're out for supper at the neighbours.
Very nice.
Bedankt weer. Een 4 CKN ronde, een heel prettige dag toe.
Two reflectors, stroke torque groups going at the same time. I'm not exactly sure what goes on then. Jesus.
Und auch in einer angemessenen Zeit. Und sicherlich habe ich den natürlich auch mit dem Rechtsweg sofort gedroht.
Ja, irgendwo Unterlagen an, ich habe keine Unterlagen. Und der Günther hat das auch schon versucht. Und
I skador så kan det ju ha fått sig en tryck, så det har varit ju lite sånn kö då. Det var ikke lang tid før at det var noen 100 meter kø bak. Sånn.
Das war also irgendwie als 240 quid.
Oh, you're nearly there, Frank. 255. I wonder how many
Right, man. Kommt hier mal an.
Zero, Sierra Tango Foxtrot from Mike Zero. Oscar Bravo uniform.
Yep, M0 OVU, M0 STF. Yeah, I got you 100% that time, John. Yeah, on your last over though, on your one before.
For soon, never.
What you do?
ist immer eindeutig zu hören bei dir.
You know, it does tend to fade off, doesn't it, during daylight hours, etc. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes, John. But yeah, nice to hear you this morning, John. Hope you've had your breakfast.
En kwartier I 7 beti een awr wedi 7 allu diwedd. Na'r amser mae'r carers yn dod beti apos 7 fra mi'n ffapac o lan wedi a fi'n mynd I
chance I can have a little nip out on my bike, I might do, but that's looking more likely tomorrow or over the weekend, as they're predicting 18 degrees C tomorrow in the northeast. But I'll believe that when I see it, John. M0OBU, M0STF.
Yeah, Mike 0, Sierra Tango Foxtrot from Mike 0, Oscar Bravo uniform. Well, the sun's come out here just now, Stu. The sun is shining brightly through my front windows at the moment. As you know, I'm in my living room, and the living room has a big window in the front. In fact, half of the living room wall is flat. The window is about 7 feet high and about, probably 8 feet wide, all glass. And then there's a smaller window in front of where I'm sitting. I'm looking towards the window, and my desk is under that smaller window to the left of the big window. The sad thing about it is it's beautiful to have the window that size, Stu, but we're only about 10 feet away from the road, and with a lawn, about a 10 by 10 lawn in front of it, and then railings. And sadly, if you have the window open, everybody looks in, and it's like living in a goldfish bowl. So we have vertical blinds, and we keep them more or less shut most of the time to shut the world out, which is a great pity. But the sunshine still streams in, but it would be much nicer if we could have them fully open, if that makes any sense. That's about the size of it there. Nothing exciting to report, but the sunshine is out. It came out about 10 minutes ago, and I'm going to send it over to you, Stu. M0STF from M0OBU.
Yep, M0OBU, M0STF returning. Yeah, okay, John. Well, Tez has just Skyped that he's making Lynn a cup of tea, then he's going to be heading to the shack in about five minutes or so, I think he said. So, well, it's actually, it's not, the sun's not out here, John, but it's a light grey sky. It's nothing, nothing dark out there at the moment. It's dry. And but the temperature's still only about 10 degrees at the moment, and it's meant to get to, I don't think it's going to climb any higher than 13 today, but surprisingly tomorrow it's meant to get to 18 degrees C, and then the forecasting 17 degrees for Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of a slightly warmer spell, John, which would be nice. Well, I'd get a few more days out on my motorbike before I put it away, and B, it's just nice to have a bit of warm weather anyway, isn't it? Yeah, well, that what you've just told me there, John, reminds me of what Jane used to tell me, a story about when her family first moved to Redcar. They owned a shop, and they used to live in the flat above the shop, and it was right on a main road, and apparently the bathroom window faced onto the main road, and it didn't have any opaque glass in it because it was an upstairs window. So I don't think they thought they needed it, apart from a little pull down half blind, which you used to leave half open anyway. And well, apparently what happened was what they didn't realise was that this flat and shop that they used to own was right, well, when they first moved in, was right on a bus stop. So when the bus pulled up, everybody on the upper deck could look straight into the bathroom window, John. M0OBU, M0STF.
M0STF from M0OBU. Stu, do you know what's about halfway through that? I guessed what was coming. I guess the double-decker bus stop was outside before you told me. Is that psychic or is it just idiocy? I don't know. But I've got a very vivid memory, very vivid sense of humour. And I guessed what was coming. Great stuff, Stu. Well, of course, this, as you know, this is a bungalow. And in fact, you can Google it. And if you put in my postcode, it brings you more or less outside my house. Yeah. And if I was thinking about it, Stu, if I do have to put a worth that, if nothing else, Stu, and I'm sure if you're handy as a carpenter, you know, and one was beyond economical repair, you could make some smashing speakers, you know, amplifier and speakers, and have a decent hi-fi system. Just a thought. But good speakers, you know, top end speakers fetch good money, Stu, and it might be worth doing a really good job of a cabinet, sticking the speakers in, especially if there's a tweeter and a woofer. But most of the Clavinovas, I think, have just got one 12 or 15-inch speaker. I'm not sure, but they were very good. I don't know whether that thought has ever crossed your mind, Stu. M0STF from M0OBU.
Yeah, just leaving a gap there, John, for Tez in case he called in. Well, I've had a few of them now, John, to be honest. It all started off when I had a PSR 8000 myself that I used to just play around with. Then my son David decided he wanted to learn how to play piano, and the keyboard wasn't really good enough for him. He needed a full-size keyboard, you know, that sounded, had a decent piano sound, it had a good keyboard action, you know, proper hammer action. So I basically bought and sold a few just to get him a decent one, and then I thought, well, I might as well carry on because it's, you know, I quite enjoy messing about with them if they need fixing, and you know, and I ended up buying one. I don't normally have more than one at a time because I don't really have the room, you know, but I tend to, I'll buy one and do it up and then sell it, and then just buy another one, do it up and sell it, John. That's what I've been doing, especially over last winter, but over the summer I tend to have a bit of time off and go out on my bike and things like that, you know, when I can. But I've got one here now. It's a CVP92. It's a nice looking thing, nice piece of furniture. It's a full size 88 keys. It's you know, it's got a nice, I think it's a 40 watt stereo amp, and they are nice amplifiers, John, and speakers, as you say in the Clavinovas. It's an older one. I think this one stems from about the 90s, but they made some really good Clavinovas back then, you know, John. And the sound quality is very, very good. You know, it's a very good piano sound because they were using proper sampling by then anyway, and AWM, I think they called it. And so, you know, you get a good piano for not a lot of money, basically. And this one's full general MIDI as well, and it does all the accompaniments. I think this one's even got this sort of teaching system, you know, where it's got a little LED above every key. Or it's not in your face, it's just there if you want it. And it can sort of show you what keys to press while you're playing a MIDI file, you know. And so they're just, you know, they're quite well thought about, the Clavinovas, John, because they always seem to have a pretty good sound. And the later ones, I mean, from the 90s onwards, you know, were always had a pretty decent piano action as well, you know, hammer action. It's called a graded hammer action, and they do have a real hammer under the key, you know, to give you that effect that you're playing a proper acoustic piano. But yeah, I've had to replace speakers. One of the faults you can get with them is that the speaker foam, you know, the foam that surrounds the speaker, that it actually, the cone hinges on some designs of speakers, eventually that could just rot. And I've had one where I had one clamming over where it was, it looked mint, but the speakers just didn't work, or very little output from the speakers. And the speakers themselves had just rotted with age. When I took the cover off, I could see all this black powder, inside the cabinet where the speakers were, and it was all the surrounds of the speakers. So I managed to get some roughly equivalent speakers, and I got it working, and it was fine. But you get all sorts of daft little problems. The other problem that you get as well with them is that the electrolytic capacitors that are used tend to dry out or go bad once they're about 10, 15, 20 sort of years old. And I've had one once where I've had to replace most of those, but I generally get them all working again, John. Anyway, enough of me rabbiting on. M0OBU, M0STF.
M0STF. I left the space there for Tez. By the way, when Tez says 5 or 10 minutes, that is WMT, not GMT. Tez's clock in Wales is totally different to GMT, and when he says 10 minutes, those are 10 Welsh minutes, which can be anything up to about between 5 and 10 hours, Stu. So don't worry about that. We call it Welsh Mountain Time, WMT, not GMT. You brought back a memory there. Of course, I had the 8000 keyboard, the one with the lump on top, I always called it. It was a funny shaped top, wasn't it? You couldn't rest your beer on it when you were playing and in a club. I always had a board that I could put my beer on top of the piano or keyboard or whatever have you, and the board was there so that if a bit spilt, it didn't go in the instrument. But with the 8000, it had got that round top, what I call a humped top, and of course the 9000 came out after that. And as I say, I had the 9000 Pro, which has the larger keyboard, and they go for about 600 now, Stu, and they're probably the best keyboard that Yamaha ever made. Absolutely beautiful. The menu is easy to use, and as I say, there's a video of me playing my 9000 Pro on YouTube. If you look under my name, John Haddleton, just put that in and you'll find that video. And of course, because I was trained as a classical organist, I used foot pedals, for all the bass work. And that video I made was to show somebody what it sounds like when you use the bass pedals. And then I didn't use any, as you know, they use styles, and I didn't kick the style in until I think it's about 1:35, 1 minute 35, and then you'll see me hit the button to bring the style in, which brings the drums and the backing in. But before that, it was just the foot pedals and a simple tune, and very, very, very effective, Stu. And I always use foot pedals. But of course, I learnt to play with a classical teacher on a church organ in a church.